Hi, Leo and Leo Rising. Here's your horoscope for July 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, I have to be serious here for a moment because this month really looks weird and there's a lot of surprises in the mix. And it's going to be a month where many of you are going to feel like you don't know whether you're coming or going. And I'm saying that not to be pessimistic or negative, but the outer planets, and there's going to be quite a few planets in retrograde, which means going back. And then the second half of the month, we have a new moon and the sun enters Leo. And so there's this push and pull energy that's going to be really strong for many of you. So this is what I mean by, you're not sure whether you're coming or going. And so the dynamics of the energy this month is a little confusing. Okay, and I'll get into it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this reading's for anyone who has a Leo sun or as a Leo rising. And again, this is a very general, basic reading using Western tropical whole house system astrology. It's very generic. It's very, minimal. It'll still be about 70% accurate because your birth chart is going to look different than this, and your birthday is going to be different. So every day of the Leo sign, or any sign for that matter, is going to have a different energy, a different frequency. But this at least gives you an overall, perspective on what's going on, so you could judge from there and then go from there. But if you know your actual own birth chart, it's a lot better to know that and where the planets are. But anyway, let's get into it. So we start off the month with Mercury in your sign. So obviously you want to speak, you have all kinds of ideas, you're very creative this time with Mercury in Leo, and that's all well and good. But Mercury's going to go retrograde this month. So around the 18th, it's going to go retrograde. So there's a slowdown right there. The sun, which is your ruler, is in Cancer, the sign before yours, and it's in the 12th house along with Jupiter. So this is not a very strong house for motivation. This is a house like to hide out and to just like not be seen or to work from behind the scenes. This is the house of limitations. And so either you're working from behind the scenes or you're going down nostalgia, very nostalgic about the past or anything to do with family matters, because Cancer rules family and Leos are very family oriented as well. And so there is this definitely wanting more spiritual connection, and and you're trying to figure out where you're going, because this house is kind of like a house of not sure what I'm doing kind of house, Anyway, so there is that indication. Mars is in analytical, perfection-oriented Virgo in your second house, so you're really keeping an eye on the financial matters, especially with Taurus also in, Venus also in Taurus. And this month, Uranus is going to leave Taurus and go into Gemini, so your thinking is going to really shift completely. So we have these dynamics going on, but we also have these planets over here in the 9th house that are also going to go retrograde this month. So you see what I'm saying when I say that it's kind of this weird energy. But I'll show you what I'm talking about as we dive in. So Venus enters Gemini on the 4th into the 5th. Now this is great because Venus does work well in Gemini for a Leo or a Leo rising chart. So communication is really strong right now for the next 5 weeks or so, at least until the end of the month when it switches again. And so the need to communicate is very much on the table. Socializing, interacting, dealing with the community issues, maybe doing something with technology, maybe buying some new electronics, whatever. But this is a good time for self-expression, and the alignments look pretty good for all that. So there's going to be a lot of conversing the first half of the month, which is great. Now Neptune goes retrograde a few hours after this. Venus enters Gemini, and there it is right there in stationary position. Now the 9th house is adventure. It is higher purpose. It's meaning. It's looking at the bigger picture. And now Neptune is going to go retrograde, which means now you turn the energy internally. And Neptune's about spiritual matters. So many of you are either turning to religion or you're finding yourself more spiritual these days, and you're trying to figure out, what am I doing? Where am I going? God, please help me, that kind of mindset. But now with Neptune going retrograde, it's deep down internal. You're going internal again. Okay, so there's the first of 3 planets that are going to go retrograde right there. So it's going to slow you down a little bit momentum-wise. Then we have Uranus on the 7th into the 8th entering Gemini. Now, this alignment is a very interesting one because Uranus in Gemini is not like Uranus in Taurus, where everything is easygoing, slow, and your values are being tested. Uranus in Gemini likes to think outside the box. So for many of you, you are like, you know what? I need to change my direction. I need to go in a new direction. I need some new friends. I need some new organizations. Maybe I need a change of residence. Maybe I need a change of scenery. I need a change in my life. I don't want to keep doing the same things over and over again. That's the mindset of Uranus in Gemini. Now, this is going to be going through this 11th house for the next 7 years. So there's going to be ups and downs because that's what this planet does. But this is about thinking. This is about processing information. This is about really stepping out of the comfort zone. So Uranus is going to start doing that for you. Okay, and you may see a little bit of it in the next couple of months. But this is going to be very important to keep an eye on as well. Now, the full moon in Capricorn is dealing with the 6th house, which has to do with your daily routine. It has to do with how you take care of others. This has to do with job or, employees or people that you work with. Could have to do with health matters as well. So we need to keep an eye on this one. It may not be your own health. It may be somebody else's that's not doing too well, or maybe it's a pet. But the 6th house has to do with, what am I doing health-wise? Do I need to go for a checkup? Is everything okay with my business or my job? So you'll be questioning all of that with the full moon in Capricorn right here in the 6th house. So you see how you're starting to analyze, and the planets are starting to indicate some major changes that are coming. Saturn is the 2nd planet to go retrograde on the 13th, right there. So this makes 3 planets in retrograde because Pluto is also in retrograde. So Saturn now is a more difficult energy. Saturn is very restrictive. It's very karmic. It's like, how bad do you want this? You got to put the effort in. It does not do anything the easy way. Saturn is a tough sign. So wherever this is in your actual birth chart, that's the area that you need to pay attention to, And so with the Saturn going retrograde again in the 9th house, you're not sure what's happening. You're not sure where you're going. You're not sure what you want. And again, you're having to turn inside. Inside, retrograde meaning going back or turning within. And now we have these 2 that are going retrograde in the 9th house. And the 9th house has to do with belief systems also, your purpose, your drive, looking at the bigger picture. But sometimes with these 2 here like this, it's foggy, it's confusing. I'm not sure. What the hell am I doing? It's going to make you work harder for what you want. That's what I'm saying, okay? So let's see how it plays itself out. Then we have the 4th planet to go retrograde, and this one's a doozy because it's in Leo. On the 18th, Mercury slows down to go retrograde, which means confusion, revisiting the past, issues with electronics, miscommunication with others, or important conversations with others that you have to rehash and go over. So you see what I'm talking about with the planets. This makes the 4th planet to go retrograde here. And so it's like slowing down. It's like applying the brakes on a car. You're slowing down. And that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it could be a very confusing month. But here is the dichotomy that's coming in. The sun enters Leo. This is your time of the year on the 22nd and 23rd. There it is right now. So now your emphasis is changing. You're looking at yourself. You're looking at, getting more attention. You're in a creative mindset. Okay, so there's this push and pull. Then the new moon, also on the 24th and 25th, lights up that 1st house of identity and self. But the problem is you're feeling excited. I want to do something new. I want to break out of this doldrums. I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But these 4 planets are kind of anchoring you down a bit, including Jupiter right there in the 12th. And so as much as you want to think outside the box, and you will, and you should, okay, there's this feeling of, I still have to finish this and finish that and complete this project and that before I can move forward. So there's this confusion, you see. But I encourage, you absolutely take advantage of opportunities that come your way with the new moon. It's a time to reinvent yourself. It's looking in the mirror and going, okay, what can I do now? What can I do to improve? What can I do to make a change? And that I would highly suggest and absolutely go for that, okay? Because every little bit helps. Every little step, every little plan, whatever, it helps. So there is that. Okay, and then at the end of the month, we have Venus going into Cancer, which is a little bit of a recluse. It's going into the 12th house. So the Gemini energy now switches over to Cancer, self-protective. I want to hide out at home. I'm not sure. I'm going to rethink about the past and the emotions and all the memories. And all. You see what I'm saying, friends? It's this push and pull dynamic this month of excitement. And then I don't want to do anything, and I just want to be at home, and I'm not sure what I'm doing exactly, so I'm just going to lay low. That's the kind of energy I'm seeing here for Leo and Leo rising. So again, your chart could be different. You might have a lot more fire, and you'll get through it just fine. But again, very general, very basic overview. Anyway, there is the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended horoscope in my Inner Circle community. There's a link down below. You can check it out, and there's a 7-day free trial, so there's no obligation. And of course, I do, every Sunday we do a Zoom call in the community. All the members are on there, ask me questions. We go over, things that I can't talk about on YouTube, and we dive deep, and members ask all kinds of questions that they want answers to. Astrology, conspiracies, you name it. Anyway, check it out. I left the link down below. Have a great month. Do the best you can, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.